SML deal. Now, there's a conversation that was very, very strong ahead of the election last year because of the figures that were made available to this supposedly collection company on behalf of government. This was a company that had been formed to collect revenue on behalf of government. But it turns out that the job that they were doing was something that was already being executed by GRA anyway, with Ghanaians standing up and calling for the abrogation of the deal, which led to its abrogation. But interesting revelations have been made in the last 24 hours on the back of arrests that have been made by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And I'm going to be reading something very brief so that you can get the import of what I am going to say. Now, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has arrested former Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu Amwa, and two others for their supposed role in the SML scandal. The OSP announced the arrest in a post shared on social media on Wednesday, June 25. The two other suspects are Isaac Krenzel, ex-commissioner of Customs and now General Manager at SML Strategic Mobilization Limited, and Christian Tete Suti, who is former technical advisor and now Managing Director and Chief Executive of SML. The office indicated that the arrest of the three men is in connection with its investigation into the SML scandal. Quotes, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has arrested Reverend Dr. Amishadai Owusu Amwa, former Commissioner General of the GRA, Isaac Krenzel, ex-Commissioner of Customs and now General Manager of SML, and Christian Tetesuti, former Technical Advisor and now MD CEO of SML. This is where I end. The story goes on and on and on and on. What fascinated me so much when I saw the story yesterday, was the number of officials who were previously working for the Ghana Revenue Authority and who, after only a few months, now work for the SML in very serious capacities. If you recall, when the story concerning the SML broke up, one of the things that were made to understand at the time that this SML was a special purpose vehicle that was going to be collecting revenue on behalf of government. Already we do have the Ghana Revenue Authority, which is already playing that role. So was it just a duplication, or was it a way of finding some jobs for some people, or was it even a way of siphoning funds that belong to the state? Because if this was a job that was clearly being done by an agency of the state, why do you set up another organization? Ostensibly to collect these funds when there was another agency that was already collecting these funds? So we ended up paying SML 500 million Ghana cedi. We ended up paying up 1 billion Ghana cedi, and we're supposed to be paying them something in the region of about 5.6 billion over a period of 5 years for literally no work done, because the work that they were supposed to be doing was work that was already being done by another agency of states. If that is not funny, and if that is not surprising enough, key officials who were working with the Ghana Revenue Authority, and I mentioned their names here, key officials are now playing leading roles in SML. Does this strike you in any way or form? Think about what I'm saying. Does it strike you in any way or form that these individuals, and I'm going to be mentioning their names again so that you can follow the trajectory that I am going, these individuals who were working for the Ghana Revenue Authority not too long ago are now playing key roles, very, 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 very key roles under this phony company who managed to do away with 1 billion Ghana cedis. Do you know what 1 billion Ghana cedis can do for this country? And if you want to compute it into dollar terms at this point, that is almost $100 million that we're paying to a phony company that has ostensibly been set up to collect revenues on behalf of the states. And these key officials who are supposed to be working very hard to have collected money on behalf of the state working at GRA have now found a very clever way to then jump ship and work with this company to be raising money on behalf of their organization. If this is not strange, I don't know what is strange. A lot of funny things have happened in this country in my lifetime, but this one is up there. This one is really up there. When their offices were raided somewhere last week or somewhere last week, I saw a lot of stories going around. I wanted to have a certain appreciation of the story before I said anything. So I recall when I saw the story about 2 weeks ago, I said next to nothing about it. Now I understand why the OSP did what they did. Now I understand. The only worry I have with the OSP and its work in the last couple of months, or probably in the last couple of years, is the fact that they are shouting, they are making the arrest. That's what I mean by they are shouting, but we barely see a conclusion to a lot of these issues. And it's not just the OSP, but with other governing agencies as well. What is the latest on the Chairman Wontumi case, for example? That is not within the jurisdiction of the OSP at this point. I know the UCO and other states-owned agencies are literally working on these cases. But we've also heard of a number of issues. Is it a case of people playing bargain when they are found out with respect to some of these cases, or the investigations appear to take a relatively longer time? What exactly is happening? We understand that these individuals involved with this SML case have not been granted bail because they were not able to meet the bail requirements. I understand that very well. If you're not able to meet the bail requirements, you'll be kept in there. But what I find fascinating about this story are these officials who used to work with the GRE only a few months ago and now playing leading roles. Are they not going with institutional knowledge? Are they not going with institutional knowledge to go and literally help SML in whatever phony work they were doing? In this country, when people are in power, they find a very clever way. And I can understand the connection. I can strongly understand the connection with the former Minister of Finance into this, because he is a big part. He is a very big part of this conversation that we are having this morning. If he did not okay the funds that were made available to the SML, we wouldn't have paid them this ridiculous sums of money. And of course, as finance minister, he supervised the setting up of SML when GRA could have done the same job. And we lost over 1 billion Ghana cedi. 1 billion Ghana cedi that could have been used in the construction of roads. 1 billion Ghana cedi that could have been used in the construction of hospitals. 1 billion Ghana cedi that could have been used in the construction of schools. 1 billion Ghana cedi that we could have used to, if you like, send as many of our kids abroad on scholarship and come back to contribute to the growth of this economy. 1 billion Ghana cedi that we can use to do a lot of vaccination with respect to all the 6 killer diseases in Ghana. 1 billion Ghana cedi that we could have used in the construction of a lot of chip compounds. 1 billion Ghana cedis that we could have used to provide all kinds of decks, school uniforms, name them. 1 billion Ghana cedi that we could have been used to improve the feeding of our kids in schools, rather than providing them with that crazy food that we call food that we used to feed them. That food you won't give to your dog. We had all of these conversations last year about the wanton dissipation of state funds, and there are a long list of them. SML is only one. It's only one of these. Under the previous administration, a lot of funds just disappeared. A lot of money just disappeared. And even if they were used for all kinds of crazy projects, including this one. We lost 1 billion Ghana cedi for nothing. We paid SML 1 billion Ghana cedi. But for Ghanaians shouting for government to have abrogated the deal, this was a deal that's supposed to have been running for 5 years and would have paid 5 billion Ghana cedi, not 5 million cedis, 5 billion Ghana cedi to this company. This is what we use our country, this is what we use our money to do in this country. A lot of nonsense. You are a poor country, yet you raise money and the money just flies away. This is a country that goes to beg for coins. We sign loans to the tune of 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. Somewhere last year, I recall that I sat here and really criticized the previous administration for a contract that I had seen. Ghana had agreed a $30 million deal with the United Arab Emirates to help with an afforestation program, which was crazy at the time. Why did I say it was crazy at the time? We are literally destroying our forest. Some greedy bastards are making a lot of money off our sweats. We are destroying our water bodies. Our foods are being infested with chemicals. And then we go to a country that has been able to transform their deserts into very beautiful places you and I go to visit, and go and beg them for money to help with afforestation programs. This is the country we find ourselves in. I really want to see the end game to this by the OSP. I really want to see an end game to this. The other thing I obviously want to talk about are issues of law. I am not a lawyer, So I won't draw any conclusions on what I'm going to say. But I am only going to ask questions. And when I give you an opportunity to call, you can also share your thoughts before we get over to the phone lines and speak to those who are abreast with the law. There's a reason why not too long ago, Madam Chief Justice Sophia Tokonu, Isaba Tokonu, told us that the law is the law. She has absolutely every right to do what she did yesterday. But I'm only asking questions this morning. If the law is the law, the issues she raised yesterday in dealing with the law, could those issues not have been addressed with respect to the hearing? Did she have to go public with all of this? When she talks about intimidation, we are not aware of what is happening at Addo Lodge. We are not aware. So it's very difficult to say on the inference that she herself has made that she's being intimidated. It's a bit difficult for me to understand. She mentions the fact that with respect to the prima facie cases that has been established against her, she needs the details. Has she asked for it and she didn't get it? She talks about Article 146.8 and the fact that essentially she wants this to be open. But the law is the law. When she was Chief Justice, she was at pains to remember as of that. And the law is clear in Article 146.8. It is not me who put this there. For someone who has practiced law for up to 38 years, like she says, Article 146.8 is clear. All proceedings, not some proceedings, all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, and the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be held in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or any other expert of his choice. This is not me saying this. Article 146.6 says, where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice, the President shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint a committee consisting of 2 justices. The President has done that, one of whom shall be appointed chairman of the President. Justice Sporman has been appointed chairman for the 5-member team, and 3 other persons. The 3 other persons we know at this point, who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers. These 3 people are not members of the Council of State, are not lawyers, or are not members of the parliaments. I don't know what the president has done wrong as far as this case is concerned, unless I do not understand what I have read. When Madam Chief Justice says that, essentially, if I understood what she said, she wants this to be held in the open. I am sure it is for good reason. That is why the framers of the Constitution wanted us in camera. It is for good reason. Whatever reason it is, I don't know. But when it comes to the application of the law, you lawyers have told us that the law is the law. And you refer to cases in establishing a case against someone else. So what has changed all of a sudden? Madam CJ, I'm only asking questions. Like I said, I am not drawing conclusions because I'm not a lawyer. And maybe some of these things are subject to interpretation, and I may not understand the interpretation to which these things have been subjected to. But I cannot seem to understand something. She talks about Addo Lodge being a place that is likely to intimidate her. If you care to know, and my producer showed me a video this morning, if you care to know, this was a lodge established in the name of one Mr. Addo. And from a video my producer showed to me, this office was refurbished. You see, by former President Akufo, who himself is a lawyer, a human rights lawyer as such, and became the President of the Republic of Ghana. He himself, under his watch, his government sought the refurbishment of this facility. So, madam, when you say that the place is a place that gives you sad memories, and it's a way of coercing you, making you sad, hunting you emotionally, I don't know. Then you talk about the fact that there was a case involving one of the petitioners, one Mr. Pong, where you and Justice Poorman were on the same case, and Justice Poorman dissented on that particular case. But this case is so different as far as I'm concerned with respect to your removal. And what are the bases for removal? If we look at 146(1)(a), 146(1)(a, this is not me, this is the Constitution again. A justice of the Superior Court or a chairman of a regional tribunal shall not be removed from office except for one, stated misbehavior or incompetence, or on the ground of inability to perform their functions. At this point, we know Madam Chief Justice is fine, because at this point we don't see anything with respect to infirmity of body or mind. She's very clear, she's very strong, she's very fit. So that one I'm not sure is an issue. Stated misbehavior and incompetence on the grounds of the allegations that have been leveled against her, I would want to believe that these are the issues in question. So it is up to you to defend yourself with your lawyer. To the best of my knowledge, you have actually gone to court where some of your colleagues have sat on these same issues and have thrown the issues out. What if you are taking these cases to court and you had succeeded? Would you then say that someone is acting funny? Are you now saying this because a number of times where you have taken a case to court within the last 1 month or two, you have lost? That is why you are raising these questions. For ordinary people like us, when we find ourselves in court on an issue, the law is used against us in whatever way or form when we are wrong. The Chief Justice, powerful as she is, or powerful as the office is also a human being like us. Do they have to be any different when issues rise up concerning them? Is it because it's Madam Chief Justice she has to be given any special treatments? I want to read something very brief. Yesterday I read something on the wall of Oliver Barker-Vormawor. It was filled with a lot of very interesting stuff. I noticed that a lot of people had read and a lot of people were sharing as well. He wrote a lot of very interesting things concerning what transpired yesterday. And before I do activate the phone lines, I just want to read just a small portion of what Mr. Oliver Barker-Vormawor did put out. Just a small portion of what he put out. And is all the way from point number 1 to point number 13. I'm not going to be reading all of that because I know you are itching to have an opportunity. 1. In a performance worthy of the National Theatre, Araba has emerged. I thought that was a bit too harsh. Not as the nation's top judicial officer, but as a tragic heroine, wrongly accused, spiritually tormented, and of course, historically persecuted. I move on to 3. No, let me read 2 first. What should have been a sober constitutional dispute became a public therapy session, complete with flashbacks, pathos, paranoia, and ghost stories. Addo Lodge, we are now told, is not just a venue, it's an omen. 3. Apparently, a disciplinary hearing to determine routine misconduct has become the trial of the century. Move over Nuremberg. Addo Lodge is now the front line of Ghana's democratic survival. She is not just on trial. Democracy is justice, liberty, the rule of law, also possibly oxygen. 4. In a casual 17,000 word dirge, equal part of legal complaint, personal hallucinations, and epic poem, Araba informed us that she is being tried behind high walls, searched like a criminal, and forced to endure the horror of not sitting with her husband at a hearing. The horror, the inhumanity. Why go through metal detectors when it's not the airport? And he goes on and on. Let me jump to 11. Justice does not need to cry on cue, but if your case is weak, by all means cry louder. 12. And Mami Araba, respectfully, this isn't the trial of Socrates. It is simply a routine disciplinary hearing. For Pete's sake, pipe down. And that is where I would end. Can we let this case be handled by the law? Like government is saying, let us go through the rudiments of the law. The moment we begin to go this, then it becomes political. So in my opinion, and that's the only opinion I'm going to be sharing on this matter, can we go through the rudiments of the law in arriving at a conclusion to this matter, so that we don't turn this also into MPP and NDC again? We are tired of that nonsense.